Did Lavender regain any of their memories?
Yeah, they were able to regain a little bit if I remember yes? Am I remembering that right, or am I remembering that wrong? So, Samir, Ty,
Yeah,
any of
I think
you?
like stuff was starting to sound familiar, but I don't remember if they officially got anything
Full
back.
on, mm. Uh, yeah, let's just say that for the instance that after, because essentially, last we left off, basically, oh, so Trish, what you missed, is the small for this from the small recap is that, uh they after both Dee and Clark were helping the plague doctor clean up the area and just generally keeping an eye on him. Lavender had decided. The rest of the group had decided to um, explore where explore the initial mission, which was to help the plague doctor with his mission, which his specific one was to study the root cause of what was going on with these creatures. He
Mm.
had located a source of like a small pond about like a half hour walk north, but he could not get closer as the density of these creatures were starting to act up. And even he noticed that his own abilities were starting to be affected.
Mm.
Um, so Lavender had attempted to uh, basically wild shape into a bird to try and get a better surveillance, but um, it was not good enough as it basically um, the monsters were able to sense Lavender and immediately attack. This one in particular, as what Lavender had said, looked like a werewolf, and it snagged at him a couple times. Um, then he felt some fey magic attempting to change him physically, um, but thankfully he was able to shrug it off and was able to come back to the group. Although it's like he was very obviously shaken from the encounter, enough to be very vocal about the fact that there's a lot of them. Roughly, he was able to gather 24 entities, give or take. Uh, and some of that included the gray. Do you remember the gray rhinos from the combat session? I know it's been like a month and a half.
Yeah, kinda.
Yep.
Yeah, those. Some werewolves, some other fey creatures, namely pixies or other type of fairies, but you're unsure whether or not that would be the sum total. Those were just the key ones that they were able to capture with like you know, basically as he was running for his life. This time he offers to stick back with the plague doctor, but in order to basically the plague doctor needs a sample of the water and some excrement from some of the wildlife nearby that specifically the ones that have not been affected, like reindeer or rabbits or birds, basically anything you can get sample wise, both the water and the excrement independently. But in order to do that, you would have to get by these monsters, and they're sort of acting not cohesively, but enough. But they're densely packed enough to where if you were to start a commotion in one area, you would be drawing in all of them.
Hmm.
So in other words, no option but to go through.
Well, I mean, it's not
No,
exactly something we can brute force. There's like 24 of them, and only a couple of those rhinos kind of give us a bit of trouble.
If only we had somebody who could like lay down a big area of effect and damage a lot of monsters at once.
Man, if only we did. Or someone that could literally just create a temporary area that nothing could penetrate that would last for a while.
yeah, I hope she's
Man,
doing well, but then again, who is that person?
man, if only we knew.
Hmm. Um, Still, the plague doctor looks over as if you guys recall as from the previous sessions. Um, he had mentioned that he had noticed something odd, as that there was they almost look like water droplets along the neck, but they look like basically they were excreting the creatures that you had fought, the rhino things, they were excreting some kind of liquid that even he was completely unsure of what they were. They seem to shine some sort of metallic color, though it's more of a silverish kind of color or silverish iron hint rather than a goldish copper. But as far as the properties of it, he couldn't tell because of the fact that it naturally mixed in with entities of corruption. Therefore, the data could be breached or it could be like contaminated. So he needed a fresh sample. What would you guys like to do?
Well,
I mean, D can always try to sneak in there because D does have the Cloak of Elvenkind and the alert and observant feat, which means nothing can do a surprise attack.
Well, it's the problem is not so much of you being surprised. It's more like you like spooking them into action. So yes, you would technically not be surprised, but you would also catch their attention.
Yeah. Unless D could sneak past them all.
Yeah, that's why I brought up the Cloak of Elvenkind because
Elvenkind.
perception checks have disadvantage and D has advantage on stealth.
What about we take the complete opposite approach? One of us very deliberately makes a whole bunch of noise, leads them away.
maybe the two very clunky, bad at stealth paladins.
Hmm.
Hey, get no sleep because of y'all. Don't get no sleep because of me.
You know what? Beryl, go ahead and make me a roll. I
Well,
need
I
to
just
make a roll.
I want to get the party's consensus that this is a good idea before I actually try to do it. So, like, does anybody have a better plan?
I do not have a better plan.
I-
That sounds pretty good.
Have we had a long rest since that battle?
Oh yeah, good question. I'm very low on spell slots.
No, there was a short rest, but no long rest.
So Ty has basically no
okay.
spells.
I have a small
And
handful.
and Korak is low health, and others I imagine are similarly damaged.
Well, if you would like to, you may go ahead and take a short rest now, and as you guys are coming up with a plan. I believe this is only your second one, so yeah, this will be your second short rest of the day.
Right. Let me.
Well, if we've had one short rest, like, was there anything in between the short rest and now that could have damaged us? I'm trying to remember.
No.
I
Not-
am not.
no.
I don't remember entire. Oh wait, I think it was in between. Did you? Because I don't know if you. Ty, did you count for the short rest at all last time, or?
I did, but
'Cause-
that was just that only counts for like healing. I don't get my spell slots back.
Spell slots
Yeah.
back, right? Mm,
But I mean, like I'm not like out. I would be able to get like
yeah.
a couple good hits in, but just like FYI for planning.
Yeah.
Because so the way that it was described, so one of the key other issues, I guess I should have explained this too, is that yes, you can like leave it alone because they don't seem to be moving from the area, but their numbers do seem to be growing, and that would be a concern because essentially, what goes on is that yes, it's only 24 of them now, but you know what's going to happen if you give them a long rest worth of time to incorporate more of them.
So, lacking a significant ability to deal with many enemies at once, I think our best plan is to draw them away. And as far as drawing them away, I have a horse and can attack at range. And I think we would want D to actually go because they're very stealthy.
Yeah, it would
Very is
probably
pretty.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah. That does sound good. The question would be, how would you manage to get away, properly get away once D is good?
And I'm trying to think of like a place that we could lose them. Is there like a bridge over a river or something nearby that I could?
Um. Well, currently, so you're sort of in a flat woodly area. Um. So the only way, then, and the problem is that some of them can fly. Not fast, mind you, but enough to be within reach. If I remember correctly, let me double check.
Yeah, are they? I'm curious if they're coordinated enough that if we attack one of them at the very edge of their uh, line of sight, would they all immediately jump us? Because the other thing we could do is get to the very edge, hit one of them with a ranged attack, pull them away, repeat.
Yeah. So Lavender went on to say that the specific type of magic came from a pixie. This pixie seemed stronger than its normal kin, but it also didn't seem correct in the head either. Um, it was just sort of acting on like feral instinct rather than a coordinated like intelligence.
Huh. Now, I'm guessing if they're
Because
all
normally these
like,
are these are
acting
territorial creatures. They would attack each other normally.
Okay. So it's unusual that they're not.
Yes.
Interesting. I mean, does anybody have a better plan than trying to break the group out by harassing the ones on the very edge with ranged attacks?
He does not really have a better plan as much as something to add to said plan.
Go on.
D has the ability to store spells inside of a simple or martial weapon, or anything that they can use as spellcasting focus and they can use a first or second level artificer spell. Now, on the second level artificer spell, I have both invisibility and enhanceability ability. Would Korak and Tolsamir like D to infuse one of those spells into an item, and then they can use it for up to 8 times.
What do you suggest we do with it?
Basically, when it gets to the point of, oh fuck, we're about to die, well, with invisibility, oh fuck, we're about to die, turn invisible, run the fuck away.
I mean, that's far from the worst idea I've ever heard.
And with enhanceability, you can choose one of the abilities, and it gives you advantage on Constitution, Strength, Dexterity, Charisma, Intelligence, or Wisdom.
Out of curiosity, do you have a web?
Web?
Yes.
Let me check. Not in first or level. Wait. Let me double check. Wait, there it is. I wasn't scrolling down far enough. Yes, I do.
That was another thing that came to mind as like we could set up a bunch of webs to slow them down.
Web does need concentration.
It does. But it does last for an hour.
Yeah. So D can infuse an item, and it does not have to be one that D has readied. And then while holding the item, you or Korak could use the spell, and as long as you keep concentration with concentration spells, you can use it up to 8 times.
I kind of like the invisibility plan.
That one's good. We definitely would want Tolstoy doing the leading them away part because of the mobility. What would be Ty and I's part?
Well,
I have-
you have a steed too, don't you? A greater one, even?
No, I can technically try to summon one, but I didn't really prepare it today.
Okay. Well, that's unfortunately something we would have to wait a long rest to fix. Um,
Uh, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's still going to be some stragglers that are going to try to follow you, because even if you go invisible, Voya won't be.
actually, she will, because that's one of the fine steed effects is that I can make a spell that targets
Oh,
myself, also target the steed.
Neat.
huh.
So we can both vanish. The question is, will that fool them? And I don't know that it will.
I mean, they're invisible hoof cloths, so I don't know.
Yes.
So whatever manages to not get fooled, Ty and I can stand by to obliterate.
Yeah, the question is, where would you be standing? Because I can't be sure when they would catch up with me.
True.
That's why I almost wonder if it's a better idea to start on the edge and see if we can lure out a few of them to fight on their own.
From what it was
Uh,
described, it sounds like they were too densely packed. Like once you pull one of them, it's going to cause a domino effect and pull every one of them.
Uh,
D, as you guys discussed, you notice something wrong with the plague doctor. Like he seems like at first he seemed a little fine, but he seems a little woozy at this point. You notice him because he's missing an arm. At this point, obviously, because after helping, but he stumbles for a little bit before quickly sitting back down. Um, although he seems like to catch himself for a moment as you continue talking, though he makes no mention of it.
Do you want to? Is he with the group or away from the group?
He's with the group, but you returned back. He's Lavender returned back to the area. That you're still in the little area where you had fought the other monsters, where he was initially when you found him.
Okay. He looks at him like squints his eyes at him because they have dealt with too many things getting infected with some bullshit. And he asks if they can look over the plague doctor to make sure he's okay.
Hmm? Oh, my metallic friend, how are you?
I am all right. How are you?
Fine, fine. I just he waves his like missing arm. Like, oh, no, nothing to worry about. It's uh just a minor, a minor lapse in my attention. It's nothing to be concerned with.
May I still
Um,
inspect you? We have had some very unfortunate happenings with people who did not know they were infected.
Sure. Make me either a medicine or nature check.
Okay, nature. That's 23.
D with the 23D. As you look him over, you rub your you move your fingers just to slightly lift his chin. You see underneath his mask, you're starting to see silvery beads of sweat drip down on his neck, similar to the creatures. It's like, well, see, I told you, I'm fine. Nothing to worry about. I promise.
Motherfucker. D says that very quietly under his breath, or under their breath. And he's like, well, you stay here, try to get some rest. You have been through a lot. I am going to
Thank
go
you.
continue conferring with my teammates, and hopefully we can get what you need.
Oh, thank you. And then all of a sudden, you hear like everyone starts to hear him like coughing really hard, like. Oh, I never had that happen before. Oh, thank you. I'm just going to I'm gonna sit here and rest myself for a moment. Whew, this is peculiar. Um, as he goes back to try and just leaning against the stump in the tree, um, tending to his half cut off arm.
As D walks back to his group, they pull out a notebook and write something down, and tear out the page before putting it back. They fold the page in half, and when they get back to the group, they pass it to Tolsimir.
Okay.
And if Tolsimir opens it, it says the plague doctor is infected. He has silver sweat, and he is refusing to admit it to us.
What do you suggest we do?
D just shrugs. He's just like, we can buy. D is trying to be stealthy in addressing this, because like if Plague Doctor hears, he might go bye.
We should figure this out quickly.
Yeah.
I think the stealth plan won't. I think the having D stealth while Tolstomir runs a distraction will work. If they're territorial, and they're specifically congregating around one area, they're not going to want to go far from it.
So,
I have a question zoned.
I have a potential answer.
Are we able to say that Lavender stayed behind to keep an eye on the Plague Doctor? Or is Lavender out altogether?
Lavender is watching the plague doctor.
Okay. Okay.
I will say this. I will say with your medicine check, he is not even aware he's like he is infected. He realizes he's not well and there's something wrong, but you are the only one who are aware of what specifically is happening.
Okay.
well, in that case, we should tell him.
Yeah, that changes what is on the note. In that case, D is asking their opinion if D should tell him.
Yes, while he's still sane.
D nods in understanding, and actually walks back over to the plague doctor and kneels in front of him.
How are you doing, my friend? Have you gotten the sample that I asked for yet?
Not yet, but we believe that this may be more urgent than we previously thought.
Yeah. You don't say. I would prefer to uh, uh, study this phenomenon and, as you kids say, get the hell on out of here, so to speak. It's taking quite a bit of my breath, I believe.
I believe it was taking more than your breath. Your sweat was silver.
Oh. Oh dear. That's not good, is it?
No. Is there anything you would like us to do to secure you or try to triage you before we attempt to do our plan?
Well, if you can, I would originally suggest turning some of my blood into a sedative, but if I'm infected, I doubt it would be effective enough to uh, work successfully. If I were to run wild like many of the creatures here, I doubt that many of us would be standing anymore. Um, if I were to go, so too would would more than a fair sum of this forest to come with me, and for a quite long time. But between myself and these creatures, he gestures to the other corruption dreads. There's no untainted blood to be able
Okay,
to
okay.
make a
I'm gonna
concoction
be
strong enough.
I need to go real quick. All I hear is bang clanging from the other room, and not the good kind.
Yeah, go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I just had the idea. Technically, Tulsimir.
Uh, that. Go on.
Technically, Tulsimir counts as a plague domain dread, at least as far as what he registers as. So technically, that one would be untainted. Extra untainted. He's a fucking paladin.
Would any of you, by the way, want to make a roll to figure out when the plague doctor got infected?
I presume it's when he got fucking eaten.
I mean that's definitely a possibility.
Do we have anybody who can actually make a medicine check? A
Other
druid,
than
perhaps?
yeah, druid who is currently not going out with other people at the moment. Does anyone you know what? History would also
Yeah,
be fine.
History would also be intelligence.
Yeah, well, we could use D for that as soon as Trish is back.
Yeah. Investigation, maybe. Investigation.
That's also int.
Intense, hell yeah.
We would use D for
Yeah, but
that.
I'm like, someone must have had like a proficiency in investigation.
Ty?
Ty, do you have any?
Yeah, I do.
Do you want to go ahead and make an investigation check to see when the plague doctor got infected?
Yeah.
Sure, go ahead. Yeah, with an 18, you gather that after he was freed from the monster's belly and he used it to like he remember he stabbed it into it to absorb it to heal himself. That was more than likely the catalyst of when he got infected. Because if they were infected and he absorbed them, he absorbed one of them, he most likely got infected because of it. But because of his nature being significantly stronger than
Basically,
them,
gone.
yeah,
He used
he
a
got it.
contaminated
He did it.
needle and got AIDS.
Yeah, essentially, he did it to himself.
I assume this is beyond something that the Paladin disease cure could fix.
Yeah, because this metallic silvery like liquid, it's not applying under like normal circumstances. This doesn't seem like a disease because your paladin abilities would normally allow you to sense, oh, this is somewhat of a disease. It is a disease, but not in the way that would qualify under
Do we know how far it's spread?
on him.
Yeah.
Right now, it's unlike the other. So it hasn't dotted on his body. It's just the silvery sweat at the moment. So usually silvery sweat, as the plague doctor had mentioned, is probably the first stages of it. But it is definitely an uncomfortable feeling.
Yeah,
Mhm.
this is
Yeah. So but because of it, because the plague doctor is the only entity you are aware of who has the ability to like, be cognizant and speak, as well as the only other entity that has been infected with whatever is going on.
Correct kind of looks over to Dulcimer and goes, technically, you kind of register as plague dread. You're not tainted.
I'm
I'm
not.
back.
I also didn't stab one of their I didn't stab part of their body into me.
Right.
And also, my plague dread powers are gone. I do not have.
Right, but we
Well,
still register.
You still are it, but the powers itself are gone. That's the part that's important isn't like you having the powers. The fact that you still are probably does matter.
Yeah, but if you're asking whether I have some special ability to heal his sickness, no.
So no. So what the plague doctor was talking about earlier was that his blood and the other corruption dreads around him could technically be turned into a sedative, with a proper medicine check to sort of sedate him. But because he is infected with whatever is going on, he doesn't believe that his blood is capable of being a proper catalyst without being contaminated with whatever it is, and being ultimately making the sedative that's meant for him uh to be functional.
Okay.
I
So
am
silver sweat. Oh, yep.
sorry.
Welcome back, Trish.
Hey.
Is everything okay?
Yeah, my nibbling was playing Catan and their friend was being a dick.
Ah,
Mm.
I was actually going to say, I don't know if this would work or if we should even attempt it, but on 4th level spell, I do have Aura of Purity. And he was going to see if they all thought it would be a good idea to use a 4th level spell to see if they could purify the Plague Doctor.
I mean, I would talk it over with the plague doctor. Do you think that would work?
Yeah.
I'm I don't know too much about purification essences. Uh, this isn't really quite so much my forte. I'm not entirely certain whether it would or not. But I don't have any other options unless you can put me to rest for a little bit.
I think we have options for both, but I think we should try the Aura of Purity. Maybe
Okay.
if we combine that with our Paladin lay on hands ability, maybe it might work, like, powerfully enough.
Hmm.
Okay. Before we actually do this, I'm going to read the thing. It's up to 10 minutes. Purifying energy radiates from you in an aura with a 30-foot radius. Until the spell ends, the aura moves with you, centered on you. Each non-hostile creature in the aura, including you, can't become diseased, has resistance to poison damage, and has advantage on saving throws against effects that cause any of the following conditions: blinded, charmed, deafened, frightened, paralyzed, poisoned, and stunned.
Ah. Yeah, so it's like, oh, it's an interesting effect. Um, I'm not entirely certain it will work, but on the off chance it might, you see him hesitate for a moment, D, as like you could see him because even though he's you could see his fingers like dig into the tree behind, like the tree stump behind him. Um, but for a moment he hesitates before he's like, no, yeah, let's give this a try. Let's give it a try. I trust you.
Yeah, Dulcimir, you can also try your lay on hands. It might work a little better with you being technically a plague dread.
Give it a shot.
Okay.
I'll try too, just for the added oomph.
Oomph. D, are you casting the spell?
Yeah, D sits in front of the plague doctor and casts Aura of Vitality. Or not Aura of Vitality, Aura of Purity.
Okay, that's because I was like, that's a different spell.
Sorry, I saw it on,
Um,
on a spell list.
uh, you see that as you cast the spell, he doesn't really make much of an effort to move, but immediately there is a violent reaction from him. As you could see him, as he like immediately, all of you hear him start screaming in pain. And he's like, I'm fine. I got this. I could do this. And you see his fingers like now they're just like digging in. You can see his left like fully thing as he shakes off his mask. Um, he looks to be somewhat like uh someone in his late 30s, who's definitely like he has jet black hair. Um, his eyes are sunken a little bit, and but they are filled with like a yeah no and they're filled with the same like yellowish tint of plague and like sickness that Tolstomir experiences every now and again. Every back then when he overlapped with Decca, and it's very vibrant, almost, but you can sort of see it flickering on and off as if something is in his body fighting. But as you like feel this radiating energy, uh, his body sort of seems to convulse, but you're not entirely certain about the specifics.
All right, let's try adding in our lay on hands. I'm going to spend 5 points to do the cleansing, though. With the way Korak's doing it, he's kind of picturing the blood in the plague doctor's body and that silvery color, and like the idea of targeting specifically that whatever kind of poison or whatever it is, excising that.
Yeah. As Cork, as you try to
Dulcimer will do
as
the
you
same.
put both of you doing the same?
Yes.
As both of you are placing your hands on top of him, it is a very weird sensation because uh, it's hard to describe. Your power is going in, but it feels like a continuous, just bottomless vacuum. Something in his blood is just soaking it in as if it's just as if like there's no end to it. Um, for the powers that you put into it, but you do see like cracks in his body as if he's like as if he's like a clay that's been outside in the sun too long, and it's starting to crack. His face visibly cracks open to see some of that black sludge that you're used to with Deca, as it starts to ink both the black ichor and the silvery excretion. But he does not look good. He looks in severe pain. Someone between the three of you, someone make me a insight check.
I have proficiency.
So do I, but I think you probably have better wisdom than I do.
What is your plus?
5, because I have 0.
Okay.
I also have 5.
I have 6.
Well, you do in fact have better insight than I do.
Oh wait, technically mine should be 6. Oh
Can-
well.
Zone, can they assist and I get advantage?
Yeah.
Y'all mind assisting?
Sure.
Yeah.
How you do advantage again?
2d20
2d20
K1 plus
K1.
Nope, that's not plus. 18.
With an 18, he is looking really, really bad. Like he's putting on a show of like, oh, I'm fine. But you gather if the three of you continue any longer, it might become lethal.
And Korak withdraws his hand. Is like, it's not working.
Um,
Sorry about that.
yeah, as the three of you like sort of let off your magics, you could sort of see him slumped over. He is very out of breath right now. He's really struggling. He's essentially like his body seems incredibly ashy, and the black like his lips are literally cracked, as well as like the dark circles around him are even worse than before. As he's like sort of struggling to catch his breath. Were we able to get it?
Doesn't look like it. It makes sense that you'd have an extremely adverse reaction to purifying magic, considering you are, a plague dread. But I was kind of hoping that we'd be able to like parse the difference. But
I will let someone roll another. Can someone roll a medicine check, please?
I have 1.
Yeah, that's one more than I have.
I
yeah,
have 3.
Oh,
All right.
Oh.
hi.
Bard, jack of all
I'll
trades.
just tie no more.
Hi has been traveling longer than D has.
Ty's just been hanging out in the background. Just like,
By the way, to put it into perspective, if he had death saving throws, he would have been on 2.
dirty 20.
With the dirty 20, you're able to get like from what everyone has been explaining, from what you're able to see, you're not entirely certain whether or not you trust your eyes, but your eyes have sort of been adjusting recently, like with your newer, more potent blood. But it was sort of odd. Like this, whatever they were saying, there was something that had to something that someone said to you that they were saying that was weird. It was either Korak or Tolstoy, but they said their healing went in, but there was no bottom to it, as if something was robbing it. That was something curious to you, but you could see that like for whatever reason, the bits of power that were used to like try and help him, like all of the beneficial effects that you would normally figure out, that you would normally guess, all of it went somewhere, just not there. just not to where you expected it to be, but all the parts that would have been harmful was definitely retained.
So something is siphoning off the magic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it looks like we'll need to do the sedative idea.
This shouldn't be too hard. I just need the time that I could probably make one. As he sort of slurs his words, you can sort of hear his voice like, oh, he is not in a position to try and make a sedative for
anything.
this.
No. Someone with good intelligence, maybe see if they might know what to do.
D can try because they do have alchemist tools.
That would probably be what's needed.
Well, if you're trying to make a sedative, again, you would still need some of the ingredients to be able to make something
Yeah.
like that.
So why don't we go beast wrangling?
Basically, try to beat the clock.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because he's already like super out of it at this point.
I will say you could possibly make a Tulsa, and you know, Korak, go ahead and make me raw intelligence, please.
Come on, Professor Korak. No.
0. Yeah. You thought you had an idea, but maybe you were just a yawning.
Wait, no, it's gone. Damn it.
I was like, yeah, did you have an idea? No, I was yawning. All right. So beast wrangling it is. The plague doctor said that in order to make a sedative, you need something of of specifically a dread aligned corruption, but himself and the dreads around you would be considered contaminated. So you need to find a dread that is corruption based, but not contaminated with the silver with the silver sweat.
What? They were probably discussing this earlier before I came back. But would
Yes.
Tulsamir not count?
T, go ahead and make me a medicine check. Or actually, you know what? Make another medicine check.
I didn't make the medicine check. Ty did.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead and make me a medicine check.
I can do it again. Yeah.
Yeah. Tulsamir would indeed count.
Tulsamir, we're using
Tulsamir.
your blood.
Tulsamir's gonna look at D and like he's also not the brightest, so it hasn't exactly come to him like why you would say this, and so like he looks at you for a second like you're crazy. What?
Ty did inform D that Tulsamir would work, right?
Yeah, Ty would be like, oh yeah, Tulsamir work, and then I imagine D just turns around, give me your blood, and he's like, what?
Oh.
Your blood, I need it.
So,
D,
technically,
D's like, you're the only corruption dread in a 10-mile radius that is not infected.
Yeah.
Well, I did not expect that blood transfusion would be on the list of things I would do today, but such is life.
I don't think anybody expects to have to do blood transfusion. It's kind of an odd thing to expect.
Hopefully not.
Unless you're donating blood.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure in this world, like, science is not advanced enough that people would need to donate blood.
Unless you're a drug.
Some places, yes, but other places, no.
Yeah,
Uh,
turn into the vampire food bank.
Yeah, no. One of the places where science would be developed enough would definitely be New Asgarath and also the Council,
Mhm.
because Henry is from Earth. So it's like, oh yeah,
No.
medicine.
Strahd actually exists in this world, but he's just big chilling.
Yeah, Strahd does exist. Like he does exist, but he be running around doing his own thing.
Do we actually have to do a blood transfusion, or is it just drawing the blood?
So you have to draw the blood and then turn it into a you have to turn it essentially into a sedative. It's not a vaccine, but you still have to. It's basically that.
Okay.
So basically, the amount of chances you get from to make a sedative, to make a properly potent sedative, is going to be a basically it'll be a DC check of 21, and the amount of times you get to try is based on how many vials of blood Tolsimir is willing to forfeit, which is going to be a D4 per vial.
I mean, sure.
Yeah, there.
Because essentially, so
And Korak has
Um,
enough lay on hands that like he can technically heal that.
And D also has cure wounds.
yeah.
Alright.
But long story short, you can keep trying so long as Tolsimir is still willing to offer blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
I haven't heard any better ideas, so
all right. Who wants to draw the paladin's blood?
That would be a medicine check, right?
Correct.
Oh god damn it. Okay.
Ty, you got steady hands.
There we go. Okay.
We all look to Ty because the rest of us don't know what the fuck we're doing with medicine. D knows how to wrap a bandage. That's about it.
Korak's like, yeah, no, that was kind of more my sister's thing.
Yeah. Your sister did it a lot, if you remember correctly, Korak.
Tolsimir knows how to heal people with magic. He does not know how to heal people with
Medicine.
with medicine.
So I was like, fuck, okay. Fine, give me your
Steady.
This is what I get for hanging out in the medicine bay. Alright.
Tolsimir's gonna say, it is appreciated.
Oh,
Just do it.
can D like lend the help action at least?
Ty, there has to be it's the same proficiency thing. So Ty, either you have to have the same matching, or you both have to have proficiency. Is this the case?
Yeah, I don't think this is proficiency. I think this is just what she got
Right.
from Jack of all
yeah.
trades.
So
Yeah,
Tolsimir, you do not successfully get the blood, but she accidentally stabs you in the wrong vein, in the wrong area. So you do take a point of damage.
Alright. Ow.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's not. We'll appreciate it slightly more once it's over. Yeah. So okay. So go ahead, Ty. Make another attempt.
D is adding Flash of Genius. So add 4
Okay.
to that as well.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
okay, cool.
Flash of genius for drawing my Tolsimir is like, oh god.
Then
You can only
Veins now. That's slightly better.
Oh, you motherfucker!
14.
You rolled a 3 both times.
I did.
You did do this with a 10. With a 10, marginally better. You're able to your hands are slightly shaky because after that first go around, you're like, oh, like it's like Tolsimir was like, come on, like please, what are you doing? He's like, I'm sorry. I don't do this normally. So you're able to successfully manage to get one vial of Tolsomir's blood. This is 1d4. Tolsomir, respectively, you take another 3 points of Damages. Now, so D, you do have a vial now. Do you guys want to have like do you guys want to do a certain amount of vials to have to test out first, or do you want to do get one test?
Let's try
Uh,
this first one out and test it, and then D's going to try to prick Dulcimir because Ty has bad luck.
Yes.
Okay.
We're testing this first one on its own.
Okay, so go ahead and make me a whatever it is for to make potions. That's the roll you need to make.
Yeah, Tolsomir pulls out his emotional support plushie. It's like, it's okay. It will be over soon.
Korak will go ahead and give him the 4 points of healing with Leon hands.
It's like, never did I expect that my fear of needles would come up in a D&D campaign.
I'm trying to figure out what that proficiency is. I am sorry.
Alchemy tools. For making a potion, it would be alchemy tools. So I imagine it would be an intelligence roll
Yeah, alchemy is
plus proficiency.
Okay. And that is doubled. Awesome.
Let's see.
23. That passes.
23?
That
First
passes.
Yeah,
try.
that passes.
Hooray!
Thankfully, you're able to successfully make a vial strong enough for the plague. You were able to make a sedative that would be strong enough for the plague doctor to put him to sleep for a little while. This is strong enough to last about 8 hours.
All right. Well, he'll get the benefits of a long rest. Awesome.
D asks the
Yes.
plague doctor if he's ready.
If you wait, before you do, someone get this down. We might not have another chance to
All right.
to write down symptoms without without them being hostile. This is the perfect opportunity to study.
Lavender can do that.
Lavender or D.
Mhm.
Hell, both
Okay.
of them could.
Good. I'm going to give you some more of my blood. You can see him like nicking himself right on his like neck area to let a little bit of his like blood drip out, seeing the black ichor and the silver. Collect it so that way you can test it as well. My symptoms: heart rate elevated, blood pressure, you can see him feeling on his neck, trying to feel for a vein. Elevated as well. Currently, vision is blurry, and the vision in my right eye, it was the first to go. Vision in my left eye is semi-stable, but going quickly. Um, You can see him coughing into his hands. Blood is filling the lungs quite rapidly, and a sortable note in my essence being pulled off into something. I can't tell whether these symptoms are a cause of the disease or a cause of some external factor I am unaware of. The heat around my fingertips and my feet have gone cold, and I am burning up considerably. If I had to guess, upwards of 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Uh, okay. Did somebody get that?
Dee wrote everything down in their notebook and collected the blood sample in a vial since they were wearing gloves.
You can see him quickly like smash his hand back onto the wooden stub. Okay. I'm ready. Administer the sedative and hide my body somewhere, because if any more dreads were to find it and consume it, they would receive a significant power up and whatever contamination I am currently carrying.
Alright, we'll give him the sedative, pull him into the house.
Okay. I'm sorry. I couldn't help you.
Rest.
Alright.
Quickly, D, you quickly check for a pulse. You're not entirely certain where veins would be on a dread. It's not you, but you're able to somewhat feel some sort of like beating, although it's like rhythmic and incredibly slow. It's like usually a normal heart rate would be roughly 80 to 100, give or take, for a normal body. His has thankfully it's been slowing down considerably from his 120 down to 100, and now you're sort of getting a beep every now and again. If you had to take a quick guess using your mathematical skills, it's slowing down to about 40, give or take, which is a good sign that the dosage is taking a proper effect. So thankfully, the plague doctor is currently lying resting against the tree stump. He doesn't seem to be as aggravated as before, but you can feel that he was burning up pretty considerably.
This is why you put a mask on before going.
As he yeets off his own mask.
No.
That being the case, there's still so now that you have, so currently you have a container of a vial of his own blood. So you're not exactly sure what to do with it. He did have like a journal and some notes with him that he mentioned he had that might be of some use to you. Although at the moment you're not entirely certain, you would still need to complete his research before even getting a clue as to what, because even though you have the vial and his research, it means absolutely nothing without a control group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dee does take his notebook of research just in case they aren't able to get him back or get back to him.
Right.
And Dee puts the vial and the research book in like a small drawstring bag and then puts that in his or in their bag of holding.
that being the case, that still leaves the issue with the monsters. For the meantime, I will actually put the game on hold for like a good 10 minutes. Give us a 10-minute break time. Just a little bit earlier, just because it gives us a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, and
Because I need to use the restroom.
yeah, and I gotta leave it.
All right. Yeah. In the meantime, everyone go ahead and take a 10-minute session, and you can go ahead and talk amongst yourself what you guys would like to do.
All right.
We shall hide the body and put Lavender in guard duty. I just said Lavender.
Yeah, I figure we put him in put him up in his house. Have, kind of Lavender on guard duty, kind of should help. And hopefully, once we get back, we'd be able to do kind of an alchemy roll with have Dean do an alchemy roll to try to make a cure.
Yeah.
As technically, you have access to healthy corruption dread blood.
Thanks.
I have never been more glad for a random thing that Zone gave me as much as I am now. Okay, I'm gonna be right back as well.
I hath returned.
Welcome back.
How you doing,
Good
Muse?
man.
Doing good.
That's good. How good is your stealth, Muse?
Good question. Let's see.
Just out of nowhere, for no reason in particular.
It is worse than my medicine. So
Really? You have a +3
yeah,
in medicine.
it's a
too.
2.
Okay. Cloak of Elven. Does anyone have Pass Without a Trace?
Lavender.
Actually, yeah, I think so.
Fuck, I think you're right.
I think the rest of us are the opposite of that.
Look,
Pass with every trace.
here's the thing. I am more than happy to just like say Lavender goes with the parties just to cast Pass Without a Trace and just have Korak guard the body. I'm fine
Hold
with that.
on.
Because
Yeah, that's
Korak
fair. 'Cause
doesn't
actually, let
have
me check.
anything that would be helpful for any of this.
Yeah.
And I think we've had this conversation before, but Ty does have greater invisibility. How does that help the stealth at all, or no?
Oh, actually, it does.
I think we,
because
yeah, I'm like,
you
I'm
can-
pretty sure we've had this conversation before because her stealth is terrible, but she does have greater invisibility.
Yeah, hold on. Let me look up greater invisibility. Well, okay, so Dee did mention Trish, are you there? Yeah. What's the difference between visibility? Okay. So the difference between greater invisibility and regular invisibility is that greater invisibility lasts for a minute, whereas regular invisibility can last for up to an hour. But the difference is that invisibility has the benefits of regular invisibility has the benefits of lasting up to an hour, but it goes away the second you attack. Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
mean, you're correct. I'm not sure where you're going with this.
Well, because greater invisibility has the benefit of you can do anything because the spell doesn't end if you like make an action like that.
That's correct. But
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
the
know
main
if
difference between the two.
I don't know if this will be something that we can accomplish in under a minute,
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
especially since greater invisibility has one target, so you could do it in one person.
Yeah. Well, because I was thinking of like because I know that Trish had the Cloak of Elvenkind. Potentially you could try to stack it on Ty and then let her try to GTFO. What spells do you have, Ty?
Well, you can't double stack advantage though.
Yeah.
Like
That's true. Hmm.
and Tolsmir's gonna need these artificer thing to give him access to invisibility so that he and Voya can get away. Because the idea would be that Tolsmir draws them away and then and then D sneaks over to get, the water and whatever. Maybe see if they can poke around for some excrement, I guess. Because
Yeah, I guess
presumably, if they've been hanging around that river, there's gonna be poop.
yeah.
Yeah, pond, but yes.
The out of character, I want to fight them just because it's been ages since we've actually done combat. But in character, we should not
In,
fight them.
in character, we literally just had a fight. Our last session was session before last was a combat session.
Mm. Fred is going to be so confused. Am I on Trisha's? No, I have Trisha's too. So. Oh, I have Trisha's over here, don't I? I do indeed. Hmm. What is that like fortress? Where's the psychic? Okay. Trisha, are you back? I don't know if Trisha's back yet. Trish? We will check. Action to do so. Yeah, wisdom, perception, disadvantage. Does D have the highest dexterity?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, that would make sense.
D has a 12 in dexterity.
Yeah, Tulsimir has 10. Karak probably
Also
has
10.
10.
Yeah, Korak has 10.
That's interesting.
Stats are tight in D&D when you're doing point buy. So generally, the stats that aren't very important for your build are 10 or 8.
Yeah. That's why intelligence is almost always a dope stat.
Yeah.
Because if you're not a
Unless
wizard
you are, or an artificer.
or an artificer, or just really want to be an investigator for some reason, it depends on the game you're playing, honestly.
Yeah. This is one of the issues I have with 5e is that the stats don't really do anything, or like they're only for RP and are competing with stats that are very important for combat and are important for RP.
Yeah. Which makes it difficult.
That this is my one. I will cash in my one plug Lancer call out per session. It's like one of the things I like about Lancer is that mech stats and pilot stats are separate. So the stats you use with RP do not compete with the stats you use for combat.
So it's good.
And I will.
Trish, are you?
Yeah, once this campaign is finished, or perhaps before, if you need to take a break, I am planning to run Lancer, and I have a cool idea for it.
Yeah. Hmm.
I hope that they didn't run into some problem.
Hopefully. They said they needed to go to bed and they live in Alabama, so that's a 3-hour differential. That'd be 7:30 for them right now.
Yeah, it is 7:30 barrel time.
Yeah. It'd be the same for Trish right now.
Wait, it's 7:30 for you? It's 7:30 for me.
I imagine you guys are all in the same
Oh yeah,
uh the same time zone.
right.
Mm. Trisha, are you back with us? Give us a ping if you are. Lou. I will ping her one more time.
Yeah, I am thinking that if we want to make sure the stealth route actually like succeeds, maybe we just have we just say that Lavender goes with the stealthing party to cast Pass Without a Trace to make it work a little better, and Korak just hangs back to keep an eye on things.
Oh, that might be even bigger of a problem than we thought because I'm looking at her spells for Lavender.
I believe Lavender gets it from their staff.
Hold on, let me go check.
If I recall, that's what they said last time. Back when we were in Akita.
Mm. Yeah, that's also true. They can use it. Yeah, they get it from their staff.
Yeah, so that could literally just be it. That can just be all that Lavender's doing, and they can kind of stay out of harm's way while still providing something.
Mm-hmm.
That way, we don't have to worry about Zai losing a character without actually being present. And if anything happens with the Plague Doctor, well, you have a player that is present. Uh-oh.
Starting to be a little concerned. She hasn't messaged back. Because D is our resident medicine person.
Yeah.
Well, Ty, I guess you could also do medicine. It wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can just go ahead and roll medicine.
Yeah. Well, you would need. You don't need to do it now, but like, because you still need to be able to go and get it, get the item.
Yeah, but even then, we still need D to do the artificer thing for Tulsimir so Tulsimir can actually escape.
Yeah, I mean, can we just say that they do that
Yeah.
because they had
Yeah,
talked
yeah.
about it before?
Yeah, like
They
that
do.
was the plan.
Well, we'll say
So-
that they give what is it? What are they giving you? Greater invisibility?
Just regular invisibility.
Regular invisibility. That makes sense.
But I mean, I could use that to get away, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. We'll say in this particular instance, then instead of D, we'll have D trying to collect it. We'll have Ty be the collection person, so that way D can come back on their own time. Is that not fair?
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see if this is terrible.
Beforehand, is there anything beneficial that would come from Korak being present, or is he genuinely better off just sticking with Lavender, so sticking behind with the Plague Doctor? Like, I am perfectly content to listen to what happens over at the pond. Like, that's perfectly fine with me.
I'm back. I'm sorry I took so long. My mom needed help with dinner.
Oh,
No problem.
okay, perfect timing. Yeah. So, what's Spirit Shroud? What does that do?
Spirit Shroud, it can do either cold or necrotic or
Oh,
radiant
right.
damage. Anything that enters it, I will if that starts its turn there, has reduced movement speed by 10 feet.
Right. Okay.
But Korak
Uh,
already used that in the last fight, so I don't think he has the available spell slots.
it's less than necessary. Gotcha. Yeah, it'd probably be more makes sense to have Korak sit back for this one.
Yep, I agree.
In the meantime, uh, so that being the case, are you still it would be best if we could say that Tolsimir is the one to try and distract them, obviously, but someone needs to keep an eye on D so that way you guys can both leave together. So, um,
I feel like the best person to do that would be Ty.
Ty, yeah. Because Ty, you got some spells on you to be able to even to do that, right?
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
checking my slots. I should be able to do that.
yeah, at the very least, yeah,
And Ty
yeah.
and D work together somewhat well as long as they're not traveling to time and space.
Yes. As long as we're
Yeah.
not messing with time and space, we're fine.
Meanwhile, at the council, what the fuck you mean you just let them go?
See, the
Are
difference
you
this time is
ins-
Tulsamir is here to babysit us.
Yeah.
We can't just distract it and accidentally break time.
That being the case, let's go ahead and do this. So, for the sake of this, you guys, I will say you guys take about the half hour needed to just reach the outskirts. D, with your particularly good vision, you're able to tell, like, oh, yeah, you can sort of see the people, you can sort of see the entities somewhat like clustering. You can't make out specific like things, but you can tell that there's a concentrated amount of creatures there, but you're not entirely certain about the specifics other than the ones that you were mentioned that someone told you beforehand. That Lavender had mentioned beforehand.
Quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Tolsimir and Korak. Invisibility or web?
Invisibility.
Okay.
Korak is staying behind with
Oh, so it's just Tolsimir.
with
Okay.
yeah.
Pulsar actually has a web, so I can do that myself.
Okay.
If I
Does
absolutely
Tolsimir
have to.
have any simple weapon or something?
Uh, actually, yes, I do. I have my spear.
Okay. D grabs that and uses uh spell storing to store invisibility in it.
Very nice.
The
I also, I want to like this is mostly speaking out of character, but like I want to try like shooting from the outside, and if only a couple of them come, fight them because I want to. It's been a while since we've done combat, but in any case, if all of them show up, then I will absolutely run run for the hills and turn invisible when they get close.
yeah. Better safe than sorry.
Yeah. This does not seem like a situation where combat is a good idea.
Probably not, especially since we're down at least one, and some part of me feels like two, though I'm not sure why.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, that weird feeling Korak has kept getting worse.
All right, shall we begin?
Yeah. I thought this would have been alleviated a few months ago, but it turns out this weird feeling has gotten even stronger. Anyways, yes, let's go ahead and make the attempt. You can sort of see that the pack, they're like not entirely like super packed together, but like I would say they each give each other about maybe 10 feet, give or take, away from one another. But you can definitely like you're very aware that these are within yelling range of one another. You can see the pond as well. D, with your observancy, you can also see something really interesting. You're not entirely certain. You see you see a deer just like walk right through, and that even though like these creatures are sort of rabid, it sort of ignores this deer as it like drinks it from the pond, and then um quickly as it hears like from the noise from one of the monsters like stumbling and running into a tree, it runs off quickly, but it almost seemed like it was invisible to these creatures.
Yeah, if only we had a druid.
The druid tried and then got obliterated. Uh,
Mm. Well,
but
is everyone in position?
Yep.
Tulsimir is
Alright.
going to get sort of just within earshot of them and then let out a sharp, shrill whistle.
You can see
go
that
sleep, cause go get no sleep, cause of me.
you could see the like some of the werewolves, they turn their heads like sharply. Like they heard that very well. They can't you can see their eyes are somewhat glazed, but glazed over, but they are heading into that direction. They are blindly stumbling and running into things, but they are probably making their way to you. I would say that there's about 3 or 4 werewolves heading your direction.
All right. Well, how far away are they currently?
You're currently about they're about like I'd say 80 feet, 80 to 100 feet away from you.
All right.
So you have
Tulsimir is
about a
going
turn or
to
two.
Tulsimir is going to run back 20 feet so that he's 120 feet, which is the maximum range of Eldritch Blast, and he's going to Eldritch Blast the closest one.
Go ahead and make a attack roll, my friend.
Give me a second while I go check what my Eldritch Blast bonus is. It's 10, and I guess I have. I'm fairly certain I have the Pact Rod. Yeah. Oh, okay, and that is taken into account. Okay. One, two, three. Yeah, that.
Uh,
I just
2
rolled a
hits or
6, a
miss.
6 and a 2. Oh, right, all right. 2 hits.
So go ahead and roll damage twice.
17.
With a 17, you see the first one like you hit it in its shoulder and it stumbles backwards a couple times. That definitely did something, but it just looks like it made it angrier as it continues to barrel towards you. So now that the rest of the wolves are they're about 60 feet away now.
All right. Well, Tulsimir is going to once again move. So Voya's speed is 60, so he's going to move 60 feet on Voya and Eldritch Blast again at the same wolf he just hit.
Go ahead and try again.
Actually, hold on. I'm going to check just. I'm gonna check something quickly. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna hex first, then move back, then Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
That's 3 hits, I assume.
Yes, the 3 hits.
And 43.
Yeah. Well, it's a good 43 hits in combination with the first hit. The first couple hits. This thing you manage to bang, 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 and then the first one you get a nice clean headshot and it falls prone to the ground. But there's still 3 more after you, and they are still equally as rabid.
Yep.
They are now they're closing in on you quickly. They're trying to move in a little bit closer now. They move in another 60 feet, so you move 60 feet, so they're still 60 feet away from you.
Well, I'm gonna do the same thing again. I'm gonna retarget Hex at another one of the wolves, I'm going to move 60 feet away so that I'm 120 feet, and then I'm going to shoot a different one. 1, 2, 3. I assume that's 1 miss and 2 hits.
1 miss, 2 hits.
$14. All right, hold
Yep.
on. That should be 2d6. So hold on. 19.
19.
And again, I'm gonna move so that I'm 120 feet away from them again.
The third, like after this one, they are incredibly upset. They're already pretty angry. So this time, you could see something like like they start to like claw at themselves, and like usually they're not supposed to be able, like they're only supposed to be able to move like certain quickly, certain speed, but these ones are they're starting to really go feral because you keep moving away. So they're going to like claw at themselves, and for whatever reason they're starting to move faster. Now they're gonna be moving at like 80 feet around, so they're still far away from you, but the next time you try to dash, they will catch up to you again. But you still have a chance to
Yeah, so I'm going to move. So they were 120. They're now 40. I'm going to move 60. That makes them 100. I'm going
Mhm.
to blast another one. The same one I targeted last time. So 1, 2, 3.
miss, hit.
That's 21.
Okay. With a
I'm
21
going
plus.
to
Go ahead.
I'm going to spend 2 sorcery points for quicken spell and try
Okay.
it again.
Okay.
Hold on. I need to mark down in my thing that I've used my sorcery points.
But you use your sorcery points to what?
Quicken spell to do it
Hell
again. As a bonus
yes.
action. I assume do all those hit?
16, 28. Yep, they all hit.
That's 46.
Yep. You managed to kill the second one.
I'm going
And
to
they
have
are
Voya dash and put another
okay.
60 feet of distance. So we are now 240 feet away.
Okay. I will say for the sake of this,
Or sorry, 180, not 240, 180.
gotcha. I will say though, for the sake of this, as you keep moving away, you're like I would say from the original position, you are roughly about what is it? Like you did this what? 150? Let's say it's closer to you're about 300 feet away now, give or take, from the original position. Um, Although, as you continuously let loose your Eldritch Blast, the werewolves are unable to get close to you. As you manage to put one, eventually, you're managing to you pelt one down, um, and bang, 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 and immediately, you could see that it hits its shoulder, then its chest, then its lower torso. As the second one falls down, and then the last one, you do one quick motion as 3 blasts simultaneously let out at the very same time, hitting at the very same spot in its chest, sort of like uh, in a competition of archeries where you see the Robin Hood where he would shoot an arrow on another arrow who was already hit bullseye, like straight down the middle. And basically it's just the same thing but with Eldritch Blast, as that one also too falls. You managed to fell some of the werewolves, but the rest are still pretty clustered together. The wolves were sort of uh, separated from the party, but you gather that may not be as easy for the rest of them.
All right. Well, after Like we've established, I can move faster than the wolves can and shoot at range. So can we just say that I kite them to death?
You're able to cut. Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You kited the wolves to death.
All right, I'm gonna head back to the pack now and see what else is there.
The rest is like you see some rhinos. This time you see some, but this time, the Fae is gonna try and actually, because after the wolves left, the rest of the pack seemed to be the pack, quote unquote, did seem to be on high alert. So some of the creatures are gonna make a perception check to see what was like. Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna do 3. Yeah, 3 checks. This is the first one. Uh, 28 plus. Second one, 13. That one doesn't notice. This is the third one. The first, the second and third one doesn't notice, but the third one notices. As you return, you see the thing. Okay. Oh, actually, you know what? Make me a stealth check real quick, Tolsimir. You have to beat its perception.
Nope. I'm riding a
So
horse shooting off Eldritch Blasts. I'm not very stealthy. And also, the entire point of this was for me to draw them away.
yeah, that's true. So these the ones that caught your eye this time, these are Fae. These ones in particular are pixies. I need you. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, cool. Oh, that for me.
Are they? Can I see from this distance? Are they infected by the same weird silvery
Yes.
ooze? Okay.
Yeah, because the aura that usually the Fae aura that you're used to with like spirits usually are like colors of your autumn reds, browns, and things. Your spring greens and yellows and all that stuff. This is straight silver. It's probably progressed to a certain point to where like they're not even normal. One of them, yeah. Let's see.
What's the normal running speed of a pixie or flying speed?
A normal one, it's 30, but this is not normal. These ones were significantly stronger
That's
from what
why
Lavender.
that's why I specified normal.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm trying to figure it out.
Somewhere out there, Muse's Pixie and Crag the Etten are just out their farm chilling.
Uh, can you make me a wisdom saving throw, please?
You're good at those.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you saved that. With a successful save, you can instantly tell that what the pixie was trying to do, it was trying to change you into something else. To try to stop you from moving, but you can see that it's caught the other creature's attention, and unlike the werewolves who were sort of more rabid, like they were just dogs with rabies, they still have some level of cognizance, even though they are not fully there. And you can sort of see the other two turning to the other creatures, and they're also casting the same spell. You could see.
Sorry,
So-
does the entire enemy force get to like see me move around and cast a spell before I get to do anything?
No, you know what? Yeah, because the first two, uh, the first one was active, and therefore it casted immediately. What will happen is that these two will cast a spell as well, and then you can go ahead and do something in response. Or is there anything you would like to do in response first before you do anything else? Because the pixies are aware of you.
Well, yeah, Tulsimir is going to throw down web in front of him
Okay.
to try and slow down the ones that may or may not start charging at him.
Yeah.
And then, hold on. I'm actually. Never mind the web. I'm going to cast Bless on myself.
Okay. That being the case, in the meantime, the pixies will cast polymorph, not on you, however. This time, they look to two of the other creatures, and they are casting polymorph to turn them into something else entirely. Oh God, where
T
is
Rexes?
this? Yeah, pretty much.
Motherfucking T-Rex.
Let me look up the stats for those. A lot of D creatures. Too many creatures to start with D. Demons, dinosaurs, dragons. Hmm. There we go. Yep. So you will see two dinosaurs. They are now indeed running towards you. Still infected. You can still see the silvery veins as you did before, but they are coming at you.
Alright, well,
Uh,
Tulsimir is going to book it. He is fairly certain now that he has the entire group's attention, and he's out of there.
yeah. You can see that the group is now sort of like following you, and they are very aggressively. They really, really would like to have you for a nice conversation, obviously.
Swiggity swooty, they're coming for that booty.
They are indeed coming for that booty, and you can sort of tell. Foya looks at you and like, "What the hell?" As you cut, she doesn't say anything, but she quickly gives you a side eye. If she could talk, she'd be like, "What the hell, man? What the hell, man?"
I mean, she can
Uh,
communicate telepathically, so
yeah, but she's
or-
currently running for her freaking life. So
yeah, I mean that was the plan: is that we are running for our freaking life.
yeah,
So
but
we're out of here.
you do manage to pull them, and you see like multiple creatures as they in the group in the back. So for D and Ty, you can see in the background as there are like two giant ass T-Rexes and a bunch of other different monsters just barreling, busting down trees, trying to get this one whistle and a horse that is neighing like she has never neighed in her life before.
Yeah. Do I get another turn? Do I
Yes.
get another turn?
Yes.
Tulsimir is going to cast Freedom of Movement, and because of Freedom of Movement from the necklace he has, it does not
Yeah.
require concentration, and because of Find Steed, it can affect both of us.
Nice.
And I'm just going to set that up so that to stop a few things from immobilizing Voya. And I'm going to move and dash, and to put another 120 feet of distance between us.
It also means you can move just fine through difficult terrain.
Yeah, and it lets us move through difficult terrain as well.
Yeah. Very nice. You could see that in response, the main pixie that tried to turn you initially looks to one of the T-Rexes and casts haste. So it too will be moving considerably faster. I believe, if I remember correctly, haste doubles the speed, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So it does cast haste on one of the T-Rexes as it will continuously try and get you. Freedom of movement doesn't increase speed, does it?
No, it doesn't. It just locks.
Okay.
It protects
Prevents
me
you from being caught by anything. Yeah, because it originally was going to try to like
I do have a
cast
pretty standard
entanglement.
defense, but yeah.
Yeah. which is pretty good. But it will be catching up to you. I would probably say in what 2-3 turns if it dashes.
Something like that.
Something like that. Uh, in the meantime, oh, actually, if it dashes, it'll probably because he can dash. It can dash twice.
Assuming.
Yeah. In the meantime, though, uh, Ty and D, if you would like to do anything, now would be the appropriate time to try something. You need to collect 3 different samples, which means you need to make me a couple rolls. And
I
you,
have a question.
yes, potential answer.
Can D use disguise self to look like a deer if they walk on all fours?
Yes, but whether that would be able to, that would sort of make it difficult of your ability to collect samples.
Understood. They'll just do it regularly. They leave in.
You can either do this fast, which would require a sleight of hand, or you could do it normally, which will take either a nature check or a survival check. You have to make 3 separate rolls between the two of you. Between the two of you.
Ty, what is your nature and survival?
3 for nature, same for survival.
Okay. I have 4 for nature, but 1 for survival.
So
One more.
I will need. Go ahead.
One more question. Could D pick Ty up, and if D picked Ty up, would they both be covered by Cloak of Elvenkind?
No.
Okay.
The Cloak of Elvenkind that you have in particular was sort of meant for your one person. You could technically get it to have double the you can technically have one that's big enough for 2 people, but that would you would have disadvantage on anything that requires uh dexterity based things like acrobatics, with the exception of stealth.
So should I pop the greater invisibility then, at least for Ty?
If you think that is a good idea, then yeah, because D has the cloak but no invisibility.
Okay, then she'll cast the invisibility on herself.
Good. Go ahead and make me some rolls. I'm going to need 2 survival and one nature check, please.
I'm rolling nature.
On computer. Okay, that's one success. Okay, one failure.
Two failures.
Okay. Oh. You know what? I'll take the better of the 2 just because I think you rolled that twice, didn't you? Use?
No, it's the same for my nature and survival are the same.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, in this particular case, we'll just say we have 2 successes in this. So we have an 18 and a 23. That'll be a success. With the 4 and 5, I'll count that as the same roll. So you're able to barely manage to scrape by as you can sort of see that the ones who were slower behind, who were chasing after Tolsimir, some of them like noticed something was weird, and they looked back, but you weren't entirely certain. That's why you were quickly trying to gather it. But thankfully, you weren't able to manage to capture all of the things, but you managed to successfully get some of the water, as well as some of the some bird excrement that you were able to scrape off of a nearby tree branch. I would suggest getting the hell out of there. In the meantime, back to you, Tolsimir. Let's say it's been about a turn or
Alright.
two, and the T-Rex is starting to get really, really close.
I'm going to Hexblade's Curse the fairy that cast haste, and
Okay.
I'm going to volley the fairy that casts haste.
What
What
are you gonna do with?
early? Oh,
Alright,
Nice.
28, 26, 16 on the pixie.
Are you trying to attack it? Is that what it was?
Yeah, I'm Eldritch Blasting the pixie.
Give me 1 second. Oop, that's the wrong one. Remoraz. Nope. Yeah. Hit, miss. So you have 2 hits.
I'm going to Favored by the Gods and add
Okay.
2d6 to that last, 2d4 to that last one.
Hit.
I assume that makes it hit.
All 3 hit.
one of the gods
Well-
takes your stray Eldritch Blast and goes, "Hold on, I got this." Whoop.
So that's 35.
With the 35, you obliterate that pixie.
All right.
And it ends the haste. So the T, you can hear the T-Rex immediately thing and falls into a thing as it slumps down, knocking over several trees, but being the blockade for the other one as the other T-Rex falls on top of that one. But you can see the other creatures it's like stumbled the entire creatures as they're all like sort of stumbling and like what the hell just went on. But
and then we're gonna.
yeah.
I'm going to continue booking it.
Good. We'll say for the sake of this that they are unable to catch up
Alright.
after that debacle with the T-Rex, but you do manage to the group manages to gather back together to the thing. I would say pretty successful. You're able to gather a pretty significant amount of the things that the plague doctor required for his research, but you would still need to you still need to understand the part of the problem was he was needing to be awake to basically understand what the hell was going on. And because you put him under sedation, he won't be up for some time. Though
Actually, so, does anyone have the Identify spell?
That's a wizard thing, I think.
Damn
I
it.
don't have one of those.
yeah. Although you could try to do this through alchemy, because that was the initial method that he intended to use himself to try to figure out what was going on. Because
Steve,
Identify
you've
was
gotta cook.
yeah.
Okay.
You've
Also, Tolsimir is going to give Voya some TLC because she saved his butt and he knows it.
and she's like, "What the hell?"
When he sees Tolsir Voya come back, he's just like, "Oh, poor Voya."
Yeah, Tolsmir's like, "Phew, that was close." Boy was like, "Yeah, that was close."
Oh, yeah. Well, like Tolsimir knows absolutely that Voya ran for her life and saved him, so he is going
Yeah.
to give her plenty of affection and oats and delicious apples.
and treating. Yeah, so she's very receptive and she's very thankful, but you could sort of see that her legs are like, holy shit. That thing was horrifying. What the hell was that? Why were there 2 of them? In the
You know
meantime,
what? I think in the meantime, Korak's just like making soup.
yeah, we have nice healing soup.
Yeah, Korak's just making soup.
He's like, hey, it's good soup. You had some stuff. Korak is like, hey, well, there you guys are. I wonder how long. It took longer than I thought because it's like a 30-minute walk just to get there, and a 30-minute. And
Is it
that's
like-
yeah.
Like he's sick, and this is literally the only thing that I know how to do
Yeah.
aside from magic healing. So, stoop.
Soup. D. So basically, I'm going to give you advantage because you have the not Scholar, the Plague Doctor's book. So that way it'll help you with your medicine checks. But you do need to whoever has the book will gain the advantage from the book for medicine checks. But I do need some medicine checks to require just to be able to distill it. Because you need one for his own blood, one for the water, and then one for the excrement from the regular animal from the birds, from like the regular just blue jays. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm looking over my sheet.
Or I guess whatever alchemy would be for alchemy rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, technically D would be best for alchemy tools since they've got the expertise in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have been calculating that wrong. So I'm using medicine instead of intelligence?
You
Medicine
could no.
should be your intelligence.
Yeah.
Okay, let
No,
me
no.
rephrase
Medicine
it.
is wisdom.
Let me rephrase that.
Mm.
I'm using the bonus that I have for medicine, which is wisdom, instead of alchemy, which
Yes.
is intelligence.
I believe you would get an advantage. Or is alchemy normally intelligence?
That's what we used earlier.
You know what? Why don't we keep it? Why don't we keep it thing simple and we'll keep it in alchemy, just pure alchemy.
Okay.
But you do need to make some tests to get a clearer idea of what is going on.
And you said I have advantage?
You have advantage so long as you have his book list. Yeah.
Yeah, I still have his book. And I actually messed up the bonus that I got last time because for some reason I still thought that my proficiency bonus was still 4.
Gotcha.
Motherfucker.
Okay. That's the first roll.
Yeah.
Which one are you working on?
What do you mean?
So you have the plague doctor's blood, you have the water from the pond, and you have the bird excrement. Which one were you working on for the 15?
Let's do the excrement.
Okay. Go ahead and make your next roll then. Okay. Which one is this? Which one is this one?
Blood.
Okay, his blood. And then the last one would be the water itself, the pond
Yeah.
water. Yeah, with the 19. With the 15, if I remember, you said the excrement. You saw from the from the first roll, you were able to somewhat gather that it seemed along the lines of whatever this silverish substance was, it's passing through the regular animals, like through its dietary system as if it's like normal. Like you know how like what is it? Elephants can't eat strawberries or something like that, or whatever the myth is. But basically something along those lines of like, oh, they'll eat it, but it won't pass through their system normally. Like it'll just pass through their system and it'll exit out the other side, not ever being absorbed in a negative manner. That's what you got from the bird poop. The second one was the vial of blood from the plague doctor. The plague doctor's blood showed that whatever is going on here, it is sort of parasiting off of the energy normally given off of his blood cells. So magic is a type of essence which is given off in this world, as does like spiritual powers and druidic powers. All these different powers are a form of essence. They may not be the same essence, but they are essence nonetheless. Whatever is going on in the blood, this silverish substance, it is muting them and sort of like breaking them down, robbing them of their natural like coatings and protections. Basically, it is pulling off their like layer of protection, so to speak. Anything that grants them like beneficiaries. With the last roll against the water, you can test that you're testing that it's sort of really deep in the water. It's more than just, oh, it's like something in this pond water. You couldn't even immediately you don't have the tools necessary to see how far down it goes, but with your level of understanding, you know for a fact that whatever it is, like from the test of the blood sample, it goes beyond that of cellular DNA. So whatever this is, it is even more ingrained than on a biological level. So basically, to sum total, whatever phenomenon this is, it is being absorbed into once it's in the body of someone, it basically robs them of all their supernatural phenomenon and essence, causing negative side effects for those who are more supernatural in nature. But any creature that would be considered normal or, I guess, mundane, such as the typical animal life like deers, fauna, and like avians and birds, it is having no negative effect whatsoever. But anything of a supernatural nature is having negative effects. Which the more supernatural in nature the entity is, the worse the effects will be. They're not these creatures are not going mad because they are sick with some kind of disease. These creatures are going mad because something fundamentally a part of who they are is being robbed of them. They're going crazy because something is like, it's basically a scratch in their brain that they can't stop, and it's stealing something fundamentally necessary to what they are, which is why these different creatures were being affected all at once.
That's interesting.
How do we
That's,
fix that? Or I just kind of hear Steve come to those conclusions. Like, I don't think my soup's gonna work.
I mean, funny enough, I almost feel like it would, or rather, like what we need is the most mundane, least magical healing.
Technically, that would be anything nature based. That's not technically magic, it's just what you find in the world.
Go ahead and does someone want to roll me survival?
If only we had a druid.
Indeed.
Why is it that always, like,
Or
every
has a
single
plus
time,
one.
During
the one
time.
person who's missing is the person whose skills we need?
I don't
Korak has
know.
a plus one to it at
Korak,
least.
go for it. You know survival.
Of
Yeah.
course, to be fair, his survival is mountains, so
D also has +1.
Yeah, I think theoretically
Uh,
Ty would have the best because of Jack of all trades.
Yep. 3 again.
yeah. So can D help Ty for Ty to have advantage?
I don't think so. Doesn't helping it involve having proficiency in that thing?
I can cast not bless, guidance on Ty. Because
Okay,
plus
let's
your
do that.
Okay, what do I get?
But D can,
you get 1d4.
D can also add flash of genius.
Genius. Yeah. Go for it.
Please.
So that's
We
another
need this
4.
to work.
Yeah. Dirty 20.
That did work.
What's the dirty?
Oh, thank
So good.
God.
Thank you,
So
Ty.
one of the things that you can imagine, because this is, if it is true that this is the case and is deeply ingrained in his blood, the best solution would be to try to flush it out somehow, which means you would need to replace what is being lost. You would have to, for once, you have to like literally drain it out of his system, but to do that on such a level that's beyond cellular might be a little bit difficult. On top of that, um, you like because you don't have this like the fine tools to be able to do something like that. The secondary the secondary issue is how are you going to replace it? Because essence is essentially more than just blood. It is literally if the plague doctor has tainted essence, um, that means that you need to replace his own essence. But given the fact that he is not just a dread of corruption, but he is a tyrant of one of the, yes, he may be one of the lower ones, but he's still a big boy. Um, the amount of energy required to sort of replace that is pretty considerable. You would have to either find a way to convert magical essence into dreaded essence and be able to do it that way, and specifically either just pure raw energy, pure raw um, dreaded energy, or even better would be corruption based energy.
Man, if only Deca was awake.
That is the current dilemma
If
that you
only,
are facing at the moment.
if only the
Wait, but he
Wheeze
thought,
Man was around.
right?
Oh, Marley.
Marley, yeah, we need Marley. We need Marley. He'd have just the right strain of weed. No, man, he needs an animal crushed into some soup.
um,
But
but there was one more fact that D was able to figure out from all of this. The more you use essence, like not and what to be more specific, essence is essentially supernatural. Any effect that would cause a supernatural uh, phenomenon that would be not natural. The more you attempt to use it to try and solve it, the more it will respond in kind. And you're not sure how it got into the water, but it is pretty ingrained into the water itself.
it's literally made of anti D and D.
Pretty much.
It's the opposite of a spring of Genesis.
I need fucking chlorine.
Chlorinate the bond.
Kill it with fire. No.
Just fucking
Chlorinate the water.
evaporate it. Uh, Further to
Because while you were successful in figuring it out, there's still the problem of the pond itself. Because if it's drawing more entities in unknowingly or knowingly, that might cause a problem.
Yeah.
Because
but
remember, the plague doctor got infected just by a minor just by absorbing one of these things, which was obviously a blood infection.
I
yeah,
mean,
So
they
if it were
did like
to
put part of it
absorb,
into their body.
they did
yeah.
do that.
So
But
right now, our
yeah.
more immediate concern is the plague doctor because, well, if we can figure out a way to save him, that's one step. Essence deep though. Uh,
The
I mean, I
only
do
idea I
remember
have
told.
is killing him and reviving him. Like,
Certainly an idea.
I don't think that'll work though, because of the whole anti-mundane, anti-supernatural thing. Death is natural, but revival is not.
okay, but
Right.
my idea of killing him is basically using, and I know this goes against the whole uh unnatural anti-unnatural thing, but my idea with killing him was basically use an energy that is opposite to him, like the purifying energy, and lay on hands and all that. Basically force his energy to die. And once it doesn't have anything to feed off of, because he's dead and energy is dead, reviving him and hope the other shit stays dead too.
I
I
do
was
also
not say
remember.
I did not say it was a good idea.
I do also remember that Dulcimir slash Deca did technically eat the Scholar of Rot.
Yes, and I am not eating a corrupted
No, not a
Crystal
good
again.
idea. I was thinking there might be a connection there, but I don't know what it would be. Or it just kind of thinks on it, just like, hey, Gore, you got any ideas? All I've got is soup.
If it was like you could see him sort of thinking he has this whole sort of headache. Yes, that's very nice soup. You use too much spice, but you know what? Good enough. Um you can see that he has his own preferences. I'm like, you should have pulled back on the spice, man. Um but he sort of thinks for a second. "Ugh, if that is the case, then why haven't any of you been infected? You did fight these creatures, yes, and I am more than certain that corrupted entities have an easier time infecting things than anything else. If that is the truth, what about your comrades who have taken significant damage from these things? Wouldn't you two also be infected?
Well,
How
he
come you haven't
can't be
been?
infected because they're not biological. So that's
Yes,
number
but the
one.
ones who. But what about the ones who are?
I am fairly certain that I didn't actually let any of them touch me.
Yeah, they did.
I
You were saying
definitely
that-
took some. I definitely took some damage, and I feel perfectly fine.
I'll be
so did
perfectly
so
honest.
did
So did Ty and Lavender.
This is Trisha speaking. I'll be perfectly honest. I thought the reason he got infected is because he was in the thing's mouth.
no.
That's
He
what I thought
he
too.
ate it
Yeah,
Ah.
you absorb their power.
Wait, did
to
he?
to heal himself, and then was like, oh.
My initial thought is like
Wait,
it's
didn't Ty
different
also eat
from
it?
things that it's different from things that spread like through saliva or blood contact because essence is like different from that, like what Dee said. So, them clawing us and biting us or whatever isn't really going to do it because it doesn't really do anything to our essence. We're not absorbing it in any
Yeah.
meaningful way.
It's also possible that we're not powerful enough to for it to significantly affect us, but I'm not sure.
Didn't I also eat
That's-
it?
Leviathan, though, Leviathans can eat anything.
It's like still, it might it might be it might be a something to test. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but it wouldn't hurt to
Let's
see.
test it. Let's let's take a look.
As as a what as a as Tolstoy pointed out, D is a machine, and he didn't get hit. So therefore, you have 3 subjects to sort of test it on, which
Coracle
means
volunteers some blood.
blood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone needs to draw blood from all 3 of them, which would be a medicine check again. We could do 1 medicine check for the higher DC, or 3 smaller medicine checks with lower DC. How do we feel about that?
Let's do 3 just because rolling dice is fun.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, sounds good.
I will say, for instance, Ty, you cannot roll yourself to draw your own blood.
Yeah.
D
Fair enough.
roll
And by
for
the way, Korak kind of comments to Gore. By the way, that was the exact right amount of spice. It's my mom's recipe.
Hey,
I made this all the time
unnatural
when you were
20.
sick.
Tulsimir, Tulsimir is like, I finally get to draw someone. No, I'm kidding. Tulsimir will very carefully extract someone's blood, making sure not to touch it, and put it in a vial.
That's so who's blood? Just who of the 3 are you picking?
Let's say 1 is Korak, 2 is Ty,
Ty.
and 3 is Lavender.
Lavender.
I feel
Sure.
like technically we gotta leave out Lavender because we're not. I'm not sure if Lavender in character would want their blood drawn.
Well, the 1d3 came on you, Korak, so
And
Tulsimir
Korak
will-
could be the first to volunteer. So
Yeah. So,
okay.
and then we need someone to draw blood from
I'll do it.
Ty as well. Okay, go ahead.
Should I use my last flash of genius?
That would be
Save
for you
it.
in the party.
I am gonna cast guidance on you.
Okay.
Korak, you do take a D4 of damage.
Okay.
Two damage from getting your blood drawn.
Ow.
Go ahead and
Party, do you think I should use my last flash of genius?
You can use it
No,
after you see the roll.
Korak already said to save it too.
Okay.
Yeah, just
You
Okay,
do have
here
bless,
is-
so you do have a 1d4.
yeah.
Press. 22. Yay.
22.
Yay.
So you're able to Ty, you take 4 damage. Wow.
Okay.
You have tiny veins for a tiny coral. Um,
And D has never drawn
That's
blood
a-
before.
so yeah. So you do manage to have 2 vials. It will be 2 more alchemist rolls from you.
Please tell me we have disposable needles for this shit. Dear God.
Keep in mind, if you fit, the rolls are going to be as hard as they were before, so it's still 20. Is still 21.
This is why we want to keep the Flash of Genius. But if remember right, Beryl said we can see the roll
Use
first
after,
and then
yeah.
add. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You still have
wait.
guidance on you, I believe.
Yeah, and you have guidance.
Okay. Wait, I still have 1 on me? Zoned?
Guidance.
Of guidance.
Okay.
But you got a 22, so you're fine.
No, for some reason I thought you said bless.
No.
Okay, so I'm rolling alchemy again?
Yes.
Okay, this is the first one.
Plus 1d4.
Yeah. I do not have advantage now, correct? Or do I still?
No, you don't have advantage here.
Just double checking. $17.
So that's not enough. You need 21.
Okay.
Do you want to use your Flash of Brilliance to add?
Yeah.
I don't know how much does Flash of Brilliance add?
4.
which
Uh,
is on the
That
dot
should be
exact.
on the dot. That would be enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ah,
So you do use your Flash of Brilliance. You do succeed, and you're able to test both Ty and Korak's blood successfully. With the blood, they are indeed infected with this. But for whatever reason, it's not like it's not dormant. It's different because
they
you're
have
not
fucking
entirely certain why.
antibodies.
Yeah, there's something in them, and assuming anyone else who has been infected with this, that in this party, um, they they're essentially you're not certainly certain why, but you do know for a fact that they do have this whatever it is in them as well, because it does react the same in certain circumstances that you were able to test, but you're unsure whether or not of what exactly is causing them to be immune.
Okay, so we are infected, but we're not suffering any symptoms.
Because because as far as you're aware, you've all been using spells and magic consistently and without not without a care, but without hesitation. But you haven't at all seen anything negative as a result of it.
We've been expelling and expending our magic, so it doesn't really have anything to feed off of.
Not quite the case, but it's like whatever it is that is not taking anything else because it's supposed to be taking passively and more aggressively the more you use it. So it should be taking passively regardless if you use magic or not, use your magic or your dread powers. But for whatever reason, it's not doing that for you guys.
We
And
we
it
got
is
our booster
magic,
shots, so we're okay.
and it is magic, and it doesn't matter that our dread shit is locked away. Just us having magic should be enough for symptoms.
Mm-hmm. Just having powers, yeah, should be enough to activate it.
Zones.
Yeah.
This ties into an idea I had for a different way for the power Korak has through Gore to manifest.
Sure.
Because my thought was the whole idea. The whole idea was that Korak is fine with the loss of power because that's not why he brought Gore back. It's because, Gore is a part of the team, he is a friend, and all of that. So
Mhm.
my thought is to more reflect like the personal relationship and shit. What
Mhm.
if every now and then, when there's like an intelligence based role, maybe Korak could choose to use Gore's intelligence instead?
Sure. I'll let her. We'll refine that more later down the line, but I will let you use it right now. If you want to use Gore's intelligence, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah.
Funny enough, Gore is really smart.
Exactly. Like these two have a really good relationship, and also they're, as you said before, they're kind of like as one. So like,
Mm-hmm.
I figure that kind of thing, if we refine it a bit, would probably and it's something we could build on later too, like outward rather than up.
That's really really funny. I just pulled up his sheet. I'm laughing a
Mhm.
little bit. So you said intelligence, right?
Oh no! What is this intelligence?
It's 12, so it's a +1.
I mean, that's two more than what Korak has.
So if you want to use it, go
Look,
for
better than what Korak has, okay?
it. Go for it. I won't stop you. What would you like to do?
So there is I'm pretty sure there is a connection somewhere in the fact that it doesn't seem to be taking from us at all. Like, despite the fact that we are all very much supernatural and like Ty's a Leviathan, that's aggressively supernatural. So like it's not even affecting her at all, even. So there's something in the blood or something within us specifically, essence wise, that's like keeping it at bay or something. There's something there, but correct. I don't think can quite access it.
Sure. Um, does he voice that to the party?
He does.
Does anyone have any ideas based off of what Korak is thinking? Korak is thinking.
Not really. I mean, like the one thing that comes to mind is that if we have like maybe we have another dread and not shutting it out, I it could also be that we're still not important enough to actually trigger it, but it triggered on a werewolf.
What?
Yeah.
So that's probably not it. The only thing I could think of is that we have another dread.
What were you gonna say, Trish? Was that you?
Yeah. My first thought was all of our head friends are dormant, but that is not the case for Korak, so that X's out. Another thought was we have head friends. From what we've seen, the majority of those with dread do not have head friends. And another thing was we were quote unquote blessed by Lady Eba.
Let's see. There's one more thing. Ty, did you have any thoughts?
No.
Okay. I want everyone to roll me history, please.
I'm using Gore's intelligence on this. A
Go
plus
for
one is better than a -1. I'll take it.
I'll take it. It's better. That's
Look,
12.
that would have been a 10 instead of a 12. So you know what?
Oh, you'll take it.
Ah!
Oh no, nothing.
Ty, you don't know too much. But you're like, damn, being Leviathan's kind of cool.
Hey, Tolstamir,
Put
do I
it
still
in.
have guidance, or did you cast that on yourself?
I used it on myself.
Okay.
Tolstamir and D, you're not entirely the only commonality that the two of you were able to get is that you all share one relationship despite your different backgrounds and histories and your reasons for being here and outside of before you met each other. There's only one thing that is common between you, and that has to be and it does have to do with the headspace friends, but maybe it's something more in particular than that.
Oh, hold
And
on.
this is Benjamin?
Yeah, that might be it too, because this seems like exactly the kind of thing someone like Benjamin would use to kill dread. You know, a disease that hurts you more the more powerful you are.
I'll be perfectly honest, I
Oh.
forgot the entire plot of this game.
Yeah, it's a story about how all of the dreads were breaking Benjamin.
But yeah, as you gather, the reason you take a wild gander between the two of you, between Tolsamir and D, the two of you take a gander that whatever this is has to relate to Ben. And with your role, I will even go so far as to say you have this isn't the first time a water-based event has happened to you before. The mist and Kina, the excess rivers that you've been passing by, the droughts in other areas, the tides in more places, and uh, more often than not, like the phenomenon relating to water-based events have been incredibly frequent. Um, this doesn't seem to be a coincidence. Even further, that this particular event relates to a pond of water. Because this water, as they had noticed, seemed relatively normal. This wasn't like, oh, this is clearly a magically substance water. This water looked like looked like normal water before something got to it, and it wasn't just affecting dreads. Yes, it was indeed infecting dreads, but it wasn't but it was also infecting the Fae, which are not normally dread aligned. They are Fae aligned and nature based, as well as the werewolves who um which are not necessarily uh aligned in any particular way, but they are supernaturally intended. Uh so whatever the case may be, you assume that Ben wouldn't go so far as to affect himself. By extension, you all.
I'm not smart enough to connect these dots, Zone. I'm gonna be honest with you.
D is smart
That's
enough.
okay.
Trisha is struggling.
Yeah, I know. That's okay. Um, but basically, there is a connection between whatever this was and whatever all the water-based like crazy shit that's been happening all throughout your journey so far.
So we need a cork board and some red string.
Something like that. Like yeah, exactly like that.
Oh,
So, uh but as you two gather this information and as you share it with the group, you get a deeper sensation that whatever Ben is planning, he's he's planning something big.
clearly. Uh, what connection is there? What?
Regardless of what the still you still haven't figured out what this substance is. You just know the effects of what it has and what your relationship to it is.
Is
As far as like the what exactly the specifics, you're not entirely aware.
is there a
You would have
way
to do
we
some more
can?
digging.
Is there a way we can like isolate the substance to more directly analyze it?
You could if you're able to get a bigger sample size, and if you would have to this would be something you would have to experiment more on, but you don't have the time or resources to experiment at the
Oh.
moment. Um, it seems as though this is an isolated event. Like you didn't like everything around you that you experienced seemed to be more running on its own. So there was no like even with these observancy, it didn't see any they didn't see anything that would be like, oh, someone's watching us or someone's making an actual effort to do something. But it seemed more or less that this is just passive. You are inside more than a creepypasta, my friend. No, but
The
yes.
spring of antithesis.
Yeah, that's actually I like that. The spring of antithesis. Um very, very interesting to go off of. But
Oh, okay.
go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I just This is a silly joke, but instead of the spring of Genesis, it's the spring of NES or the spring of Nintendo.
Yeah. I'm really pissed at Nintendo right now.
Mm,
Oh, you don't know the half?
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, do you
Um,
know how much the Switch 2 costs in Canada?
oh my God, no,
Oh, wow.
600?
Yeah. Yeah, 600.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Nope, thank you. Um,
Nope, I'll
but
just keep replaying Tears of the Kingdom. Thank you very much.
but as you all settle down, thankfully, you've managed to help along the plague doctor's work considerably, which which hopefully when he wakes up, he'll help you along your journey and give you
We don't know that he's going to be okay when he wakes up.
yeah. But in the you do have some time to do that. But in the meantime, this is where we will end our session for today.
No,
Alright.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, this is something. So basically, for next session, I would like you all to either think on your own or like talk to someone else, like try to figure out what the hell do we do? Because now we know what's going on. That doesn't mean we can solve the problem.
could you, could we have like a note? I think we have a section where we put in, like, oh yeah, recaps. It might be good to put what we found in the recaps, for reference.
Yeah.
Especially since I wasn't here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something I want to
Can
do.
you guys? Is it possible for you guys to put messages in here? Or no? Did I lock you guys out?
I can type, yeah, I'm able to type in here. I think
Yeah.
we are all able to type in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you guys feel comfortable, go ahead and add to the session. What you all remember, what you feel like you need to add along. But
Well,
He
most,
I can
wants to do
ask.
vaccine science,
yeah,
Sure.
or Trish wants to do that.
Yeah.
Basically, I want to capture something and do fucking vaccine antibody shit and see if that works on a random thing.
Oh yes, animal testing.
Are we complaining?
Not really, no. Korak's the type to just be like, no, that makes sense. Why would you argue about it? Like, yeah, we kind of have to figure it out.
No. Thank you everybody for coming to today's session.
Yeah, thank you for running.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I know it's been a while, but hopefully we can run more soon. I think I could run next week. Pretty sure I can.
We will find out.
We'll find out. Yeah, this is partially why I didn't want to run a full game because I'm like, that's 24 monsters. That's a lot of them.
Yeah.
They probably need a little bit more.
Did you have a
Um,
combat ready if we actually tried to fight them? Or
Yes, I did.
I almost want to see what that was like. Almost.
Um,
It would have been
like-
awful.
I was like, good luck.
It would have been awful.
In the meantime, I will let you all go. You guys have a wonderful night. I will see you all next week. Hopefully.
Later.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
And then there were two.
Indeed. All right. I'm gonna need help keeping organized what we found.
Ha 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 ha.
You
Okay.
recorded, right?
Oh, yes. Okay, that's what you meant. I thought you were relying on my memory.
Well, I know better because mine is shit too. Like
But yes,
I
I
can
am-
remember plot stuff pretty well, but like that was a lot of information to digest.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I went ahead and typed a message into recaps so that there's a separation. If we have the recording, Do you think maybe you'd be able to like do bullet points of what we talked about?
I will be posting the recording into recorded sessions.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm the best person to do bullet points.
That's fair.
Speaking of, I am ending the recording now.
Fair enough.